Galeon are building some of the most interesting boats in the world at the moment, and this new 480 Fly is no exception. For a 47-foot boat, it manages to pack in an enormous amount of space and kit, and I'm going to show you all of that. My name is Hugo Andreae, you're watching Motorboat and Yachting. Let's go and tour it. Let's get the basics over and done with. So the pricing for this, fully equipped as you see it with all the kit on it, is 1.287 million euros ex-tax. But that includes all the fun and function and optional kit that you can see. And that starts right here at the stern. So first up, we have got a full hydraulic platform that all lowers down into the sea. And if we take a little bit of a closer look over here, you can see that there is also a special steps that fold down with it, so creating a lovely gentle staircase down into the sea. Now on the stern here, we've also got the optional barbecue. So if I flick that up, you can see we've got a grill built in there, but that is not the half of it. We have got a huge lazarette under here. It's not really a tender garage, it's more a lazarette, but you could fit a rolled up dinghy in there, and of course SUPs or cushions and covens like you've got here. But there is more to it. This whole unit here, which they call the carousel, actually spins round, and I think I've already unlocked that. So with any luck, if I give that a good tug, you can see the whole thing starts to spin around. It's a little bit of an effort one-handed, but if I keep on going, there we go, stop that there and take a step back, and you can see what that looks like once we've spun it round. So you can have the whole thing facing out to sea. You can lock it in any direction so it faces out over the side, but you've just got the option to point it in the direction you want to face. So if that's facing the sun or an attractive bit of coastline, you can do all of that. Now you've probably noticed that we've got the balconies on here, one of the big selling points of Galeons, and they are as big as you get on this side of boat. Obviously there's the fact that it increases the actual footprint of this cockpit area. You've also got glass in them. You can probably just about see the water reflecting through there, and you've got a gate in it, so that will swing open and gives you access to the pontoon. We've got guardrails around it, so it's nice and safe. And you can see it's exactly the same over on the other side. All set up, but it's not just the space, it's how they use them. Just before we get to that though, I wanted to point out another couple of small details down here. You can see we've now got little lockers for the tails of the ropes. So as well as all the clever fancy stuff, they're also building in some good, sensible, practical kit. So we've got the fair lead and the cleat, but also somewhere to tuck the tail of the rope. Now these are of course electric. You can see the controls for these down here. I'm not going to touch them because they are all set up. But it's not just the space, it's the fact that they integrate them with the rest of the boat. So here, for example, if I lift up this and swing that back, you can see you've got a lovely little seat facing out over the balcony. That does all, of course, close up. If I swing that up and out the way, and then this whole side section here closes up or opens up the other way. But it's the fact that it just integrates so brilliantly with the inside space. And we'll take a better look at that in a minute. But first, let's go and have a quick look at the other balcony, because here we have the trademark Galeon bar. Now, again, I've got this half folded away. The door is open, but if I pull this out, that then locks into place. You can move your little cocktail glasses, and then you've got this fabulous little bar area. It's a small detail, but it's such a nice additional way of using the boat. Space is one thing, but to have a whole extra little entertainment zone is quite another. Now let's carry on round for the moment. Whilst we're outside, we'll go up this side deck here. Nice wide side decks, incidentally, plenty of space to move along. You've also got grab rails up here. really sensible. So you've got the protective rails by your knees and a grab rail up for your hand. Noting briefly that there is a big window here, not quite a door, but a really nice big opening window, and then up to this foredeck area. And yet again, they work this space so hard. Now, one of the problems with sometimes having a space like this on a boat of this size is, of course, the problem of looking out from the helm. But Galeon have solved this because all of these fold flat. I might be able to do this one-handed. I might just have to pop this cushion on. Ooh, can I do this one-handed? I don't think I can because I need two sets of hands. But if I pop that up, that lifts up like that. This folds flat like that. Pop that down, and then you've got a completely flat view. So you get the picture. Here on this side, we've got it set up as a seat. Here, we've got it set down. And it's not just these seats that transform to make life easier or more comfortable. These ones do as well. So exactly the same with this. Under here, I can't lift that up, but under here are backrests where we've got set up over on this side, so you can see it. The whole thing transforms into a really comfortable seating area. And there is more to it than that. If you look down here, we've got some buttons. First up, we've got a forward and back. So if I hold that forward button, you can see the whole seat slides forward and out next to the guardrails. And this is the bit I really like. You think, okay, well, that's all very well, quite nice. You've now got a nice walk through this way, but it looks a little bit slopey. Fear not, we can deal with that. This button here, up, down, you can see that just lifting up a little bit from the deck to create a nice level seat, because nobody wants to feel like they're rolling off towards the bow of the boat. So you get the picture. This one does exactly the same. Move that out. Fold the backrests up. You've also got a little slot for the table, so you can put the table in there. And now, for a 47-foot boat, you have an astonishingly large extra entertainment zone on the bow of the boat with full backrests for all of them. Obviously, some of them are folded away, but you can see exactly what it looked like with backrests all the way around, table in the middle, seating for 8, 10 people. On a 47-foot boat, it's unheard of. Really cool. Also worth pointing out, look how much glass there is in this section here, because glass is a major feature of this boat. You'll see it in the hull sides. We might just have a little lean over the side to get a look down there, but you really notice it from inside. But just give you a peek down the side there. Look at the size of that glass hull window stretching all the way along the top sides to the bow. Before we go inside, we're going to have a quick peek up at the Flybridge. Again, fully featured Flybridge, big wrap of seating all the way around here, and they've gone to the trouble of making sure that the table extends all the way. So here too, this one pulls out. Hopefully I can do that one-handed. That folds out. So the whole way around that seating area, you've now got somewhere to put your plate so you can genuinely dine 6, maybe even 8 people up here, all with access to the table. Big wet bar over on this side. Again, for a 47-foot boat, it's a big, fully featured wet bar. We've got a grill there. We've got a sink and a draining locker there. We've got a fridge under here. There is space for an ice maker and things if you want one there. Bin under there. But it is basically all the kit and most of the space of a bigger boat, but within the footprint and size and, crucially, the berthing costs of a sub 50-foot boat. Another big seating area on this side. See the storage under all those seats. I won't open them all up, but plenty of storage for covers. You can, of course, get a bimini hood on top of this. This one hasn't got it fitted, but you can have a nice sunshade bimini to shade all this area too. Perfectly decent helm station. Throttles for those Volvo Penta engines, we'll have a look at that. We've got an automatic zip wake trim system, fusion entertainment, bow and stern thruster. We've only got one relatively small screen fitted to this boat, but you could have a second screen there. and all the sort of crucial controls like anchoring and nav lights and so on, as well as autopilot. But let's carry on because there is so much more to see. Now, quite a nice gentle slope on this staircase up and down from the Flybridge, always nice to see. And then into the saloon, and this is where those sliding side doors make such a difference. It's not just the fact that you've got those extra balconies, but it totally opens it up. So we've got twin bifold glass doors here. You can see that they push all the way over, so you've got this really big entrance here. Then you've got the sliding window on this side, another sliding window on this side, and the whole thing just feels like a sort of inside-outside space. It's much like a kind of kitchen that you'd have at home with big bifold doors, and it's a lovely livable space. Right, we've got an oven under here. We have a twin ring induction hob there. Got a fridge over here. Little half-size dishwasher under there. There's that lovely bar area. I mean, how nice is that to be doing the cooking and be able to chat with somebody having a drink at the bar there. Little bin unit under there. 1.5 sink, quite a small sink. You're going to have fairly small plates to fit in there, but with that dishwasher, arguably, you don't really need them. Here's that inside-outside seat. Now this folds over. Again, might be a little tricky one-handed, but you can just about, oh, that's because I've got the bar in the way there. So I lift that bar over, and then this seat faces into the saloon. So just a nice little place to hang out there. Again, if you want to sit and chat to somebody doing the cooking. We've got the full sort of lounge saloon area here, if you like. I should have pointed out we've got eye-level storage up here too, all the way around the galley. On this side, we have a TV. I think I can probably find the switch for that. So we've got a high-low TV that whirs up from there. I'm not going to go the whole way, but you get the idea. You've got a TV exactly where it should be, opposite the main seating area. The table here, you can see, is on a high-low telescopic support there, so that can sink down and that can become an additional sleeping area if you want it. In the meantime, it's just a more sort of formal inside dining space. Here is the indoor helm station, and there's that window there. Again, a really good size window. And for me, this is one of the big appeals of the boat. You've got such good natural ventilation through it. A lot of the time, when you are on a Flybridge boat and the sun is shining, you just feel a little bit hemmed in. It's a bit like sitting in a greenhouse. But with that big opening window right next to the helm, as well as those two behind you, it feels like a wonderfully open boat. Similar layout for the helm station here. We've got twin screens, and what's nice to see here is we've got a really good mix of both electronic and physical switchgear. So here you can control all manner of things. You've got the pumps, you've got the lighting, you've got access to all the equipment. Little bit of a bore that things like that window, for instance, are actually these little soft touch switches here, and in fact access to the tender garage is on that button there. But we have got sort of physical buttons for key things that you want to, like the horn, like the wipers, anchor winch, and so on. So good mix of both. Bow and stern thrusters already mentioned, and the Raymarine autopilot. Right, carry on down. Pointing out that we've got a couple of skylights in there. You can see they're sort of frosted, so you maintain privacy, but it does just let natural light into the owner's cabin down below. Decent view through the windscreen. Little bit of a lip over there, but actually when you're sat down or sitting down, it doesn't really compromise the view. You've got a good, nice single-piece windscreen. These side mullions are relatively large, but there's no central strut, so you do get a good view. And there you can see the difference between having the seats up and down. You can see we've got them up over on the port side, and although the one closest to the screen is down, whereas here we've got the backrest up immediately in front of you. That compromises the view a little bit, but once it's folded down, you would absolutely be able to see straight over the bow without any blockage at all. Right, let's carry on down into the main accommodation zone. Now again, don't forget, this is a 47-foot boat, and yet we have 3 cabins on it. So let's start actually with this twin cabin here. I say twin cabin, it's a bunk cabin. But look at the size of the windows. For a twin guest bunk cabin, really decent size windows. Obviously the one below doesn't enjoy that natural light, but reasonable clearance under the bed. You have got some artificial lighting under there, and the width of those mattresses is actually quite decent. That gets a little bit wider up where you need it around the shoulder space, a little bit thinner at the foot of the bed, but perfectly fine. You could actually sleep an adult on there and not feel too compromised. We have got blinds here which drop down. That would probably sort of rattle a bit if you were lying in bed with those hanging down next to you, but it does mean you can block out the light. Now this is the forward VIP. I might just turn off the artificial lighting on there because it looks like it's strobing a little bit. There is so much natural light coming in here. We've got those side windows I already mentioned. They stretch a long way forward right alongside the bed. We have got the overhead skylights too. That lets a load more light. You'll notice that all of these have little wires along them too, so you have got blinds for all of those. And actually they've sort of calmed down their interior design a bit. They used to be a little bit sort of glitzy and flashy. Now it just looks a little bit more sort of neutral, a bit more elegant, but still really decent quality. Got a nice little vanity unit there. We have storage under the bed. We've got a decent hanging locker over on this side. And I believe behind here we've got another one, so you've got another locker in there. And ensuite access to the bathroom. Now that's a decent size. You know, often the kind of internal doors you get can be a little bit flimsy on mainstream production boats, but that's a really good thickness. It feels weighty, it feels solid, and hopefully it adds a bit of soundproofing too. And even things like the door furniture feels really chunky and decent and good quality. So, ensuite access to the bathroom. This is shared with the third cabin. You can see there is access back out into that lobby area there. And even here, look at the size of that window. You have to be a little bit careful at night. If you've got the light on, you might inadvertently end up flashing your next door neighbour. But you can see there are blinds in there. You can scroll those down. We've got a separate shower compartment, proper glass door. Even that feels solid, actually. You will notice that the loo is actually part of the shower. So you can't keep the whole thing dry, but you can certainly close off that shower area, and then you've got a separate shower compartment to contain the water in there. But the main event is yet to come, and that is in the master cabin, which is amidships and a full beam master cabin, which is pretty impressive going. Just get a proper view on that. You can see those hull windows stretch all the way along there, and equally on that side. There are little opening ports within them so you can get some fresh ventilation. You can just see there. They are plastic flips, but not too bad. Just going to turn those artificial lights off if I can. Nope, I can't find where they are either. But you get the picture. Now, there is a little bit of height variation in the deck head here. You can see some of the mouldings intruding from the saloon up above, but actually cleverly the way the floor is arranged and the way the deck head is arranged, there is full standing headroom. So if I spin the camera around, you can see here I've got clearance over my head. Obviously there's this nice little seating area here, plenty of space to sit down here, and then moving around there is a little step down just at the foot of the bed here. So you can see as I move down here I still get just about enough clearance. It's a little bit tight, probably just under 6 foot of headroom at the foot of the bed. But then when you come round to this section here, there is another cutout above me, and now there is more headroom again here. So quite cleverly, they've managed to arrange the floor heights and the deck head heights to make sure that you can walk comfortably all the way around the bed. Storage along this side. We've got hanging lockers in here, television in the bulkhead. Here's the steps that I was talking about. You can just see it sort of drops down just where the headroom drops to. And of course, an ensuite bathroom here, again with a really big window. Now this time, because it's the main cabin and the main bathroom, we have got a separate shower compartment without the toilet in the corner. Toilet is over on this side. Really good size sink, good bit of storage under there. And of course it is completely ensuite to the main cabin. You can see here is the actual door out into the lobby area, so you're all completely private, and an extra little shelf under there. Right, let's work our way back up. I know you're always keen to have a look in the engine room, so let's have a quick look down there and we can talk a little bit about performance too. So here we have a pair of Volvo 600 horsepower D8s. If I lower myself in here, there's not a lot of space to move around, but we can see that they are on V drives. You can just about see the shaft reversing under the engine there. We've got the twin fuel tanks ahead of us. And if I spin around, you can see we've got the generator over on that side. You can probably just about see it tucked in there, and access to things like the house batteries and all the electronic breakers on that screen there. Now these engines here should give you a top speed of around 31 knots, and with those bow and stern thrusters should be nice and easily controllable. So there we go, that is the new Galeon 480. I promised you it was a bit of a miracle in terms of what they managed to squeeze on board, both in terms of volume and particularly in terms of kit. But with all those folding balconies and so on, there's one other thing I think I probably ought to mention, because one of the common concerns that people have is, okay, lovely boat, lots of kit, but how reliable is it all? Well, now the UK dealer for this, Argo, have introduced a 5-year mechanical and electrical warranty. So anything that goes wrong with folding balconies or hydraulic platforms, all of that is covered. So hopefully that will give you the reassurance that you can enjoy all this kit without having to worry about whether it's going to go wrong. So that is the Galeon 480 Fly. I hope you've enjoyed looking around. Please do let me know what you make of it in the comments. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching.